हेलो स्टूडेंट्स। क्लास 11th का ये फर्स्ट चैप्टर आता है आई मीन जहाँ पर फिजिक्स एंड मेजरमेंट करके टॉपिक है। द फर्स्ट चैप्टर ऑफ क्लास 11th एंड बहुत ही इजी चैप्टर है, बहुत ही सिंपल टॉपिक है ये। राइट। तो टॉपिक के अंदर बेसिकली आपको फिज़िक्स के बारे में थोड़ा सा बेसिक आइडिया लेना होता है कि व्हाट इज़ ऑल अबाउट फिजिक्स, व्हाट आर द फिजिकल क्वांटिटीज़, हाउ डू वी मेजर द फिजिकल क्वांटिटीज़, what is the meaning of dimensions in the physics, what is dimensional analysis। सो इसको हम लोग बहुत ही फास्ट वे में आई मीन वेरी क्विकली जल्दी जल्दी से कुछ कंसेप्ट को कवर करते हैं। राइट। तो फिज़िक्स, जैसे कि आपको पता है कि व्हाट इज़ फिज़िक्स, तो फिज़िक्स इज़ ऑल अबाउट द मेजरमेंट, इट इज़ ऑल अबाउट एक्सपेरिमेंट्स। फिज़िक्स इज़ experiment, observation, measurement. And whenever you measure any quantity, if you are going to measure any physical quantity, any quantity, if you want to measure a quantity, then there must be some standard, there must be some standard. For example, if we are on the planet Earth and someone from other planet, someone, maybe some alien from other planet comes to Earth and they say, hey friend, your height is 12 glitches. Like someone coming from the other planet tells you that your height is 12 glitches. Now we will not understand what is the meaning of glitches, because till now we are not familiar with this word in physics. Right. What is glitches? We are not aware. You are aware of this number 12, which is a number, but what is this quantity, what is this term? We are unaware of this factor. So physicists and scientists, they defined some standard of units. They defined some standard of units so that whenever a person takes measurement and that person report that measurement to somebody else. Person A takes some measurement and that person A will give report of that measurement to somebody else, suppose that person B. So both persons A and B must be aware of the units of measurement. If person A takes a measurement and submit the report as the measured distance is 12 glitches. Now when the person B will read this report, the person B cannot understand what is glitches. To overcome this difficulty, scientists and physicists and engineers in the year 1960, they defined some standards of measurements, they defined some units, they defined some standard of measurements. Right. You can also think as if somebody comes from other country, suppose that somebody comes from a country and the language of that country is French, and that person starts talking to you in French language, which you never heard. So it will be very difficult for you to understand or communicate with that person, because your language is according to your country, his or her language is according to his or her country. Right. So this problem was resolved by selecting English as the international language Similarly, a unit of measurements in the year 1960, some standards were defined for them and some units were given for the quantities, in which it was decided that distance measured anywhere in this world will have a unit of meter. This was the standard. And then they also defined what is 1 meter. Today, if someone says that this length is 2 meter, if somebody says to you this length is 2 meter, so a picture, or there is a clarity in your mind, because you know what is 1 meter, you know the value of 1 meter, you can guess how long should be 1 meter. If you tell that your height is 175 centimeter, the other person will clearly get an idea, because he or she knows what is 1 centimeter. So before I tell my measurement that it is 20 meter or suppose 50 kilogram or suppose 20 seconds, before I give this kind of measurement, I should specify what is 1 meter, what is 1 kilogram, what is 1 second. Right? So they defined standards for the meter, standards for the kilogram, and they gave some units. That's a very lengthy process. We will not go into the detail. I will just give the example of meter, which was decided in the year 1960 in International Committee of Scientists. And they defined 1 meter as distance traveled by light, distance which is traveled by the light in a free space, or you can say in vacuum, in a time of 1/299,792,458 seconds. So this way 1 meter was defined in that committee. Similarly, 1 kilogram was defined, 1 second was defined, right? And all the standards were defined in the International Committee, because of which we call it SI units, SI system, international standards. They are called international standards, SI units, SI system. And then the whole world agreed to the conclusions, to the orders given by that committee, that yes, now onward 1 meter will be this much, now onward 1 kilogram will be this much, and this way the standards are defined. Right? And in this international committee, it was decided that distance will always be measured. The distance will always be measured in a unit of meter. Mass of any object will be measured in the unit of kilogram. So they first defined what is kilogram, and then they said whenever you are measuring mass, you have to tell 20 kilogram, 30 kilogram, because what is 1 kilogram is now known to everybody. So if you will say 20 kilogram, the other person can now understand your language, that yes, if 1 kilogram is this much, then 20 kilogram will be 20 times of that unit. Time was decided to be measured in seconds in that unit. So the units of measurement for distance, mass and time were meter, kilogram, second in that international standards. And alternatively, we call it MKS system. It is also called as MKS system. M stand for the meter, K stand for the kilogram, and S stand for the seconds. So this was the international committee. But today also there are some countries like US. They have their own system. They have their own system of units. They prefer to measure distance in some other units, miles, sometimes feet. They prefer to measure mass in some other units like pound. So that's individual choice now. But on an international platform, all the units for length should be meter, all the units for mass should be kilogram, and time should be in seconds. So other units are basically CGS unit. There is one more unit which is CGS, but that is not a standard unit. In CGS unit, the distance is measured in the centimeter, mass is measured in the grams, and time in seconds. One more system is called FPS system. F stands for foot, which is the length, pound, and second. But we, being in India, we follow this system MKS, that in India and on any scientific platform, the distance will be given in the meters, mass will be given in the kilometers, and time in seconds. Yes, sometimes we give distance in kilometers, right? Because if you want to measure a distance between two towns, two cities, it cannot be in meter. So you put the answer as, let's say, 80 kilometer. So remember, this meter is the unit. This meter is the unit of measurement, and this kilo is called as the prefix of unit. You call it prefix, which is 80 into this kilo stand for 10 to the power 3. Now you can call it meter. That's a conversion. Suppose size of atom is given. Now size of atom is very small. We say that size of atom is 8 nanometer. So meter is the unit, again meter is the standard unit, nano is the prefix, which is stand for 10 raised to the power minus 9. So you can call it, yes, it is 8 into 10 to the power minus 9, and now it would be meter. So we are always putting the measurement in standard units. Yes, you can add prefix before that unit, but we should be aware of that prefix, that what is nano. So nano is for 10 to the power minus 9. What is micro? It is for 10 to the power minus 6. What is centimeter? So centimeter is 10 to the power minus 2. Right. So in this way you can have other units also, but all the other units are basically our standard unit and prefix before that, kilo, centi, nano, and so on. So this is how the quantities are measured in various units now. In physics, there is a term which we call as dimensions. In physics, we call a term is known as dimension, which has very special meaning in physics. Dimension has very special meaning in physics because dimension in physics actually denotes the physical nature of quantity. Physical nature of quantity is denoted by dimension. What is physical nature of quantity? What do we mean by physical nature of quantity? So let's say we want to measure distance, then you can measure distance in various units, right? You can measure distance in meter, you can measure distance in centimeter, or you can measure the distance in kilometer, or you can measure the distance in miles, whatever you like. You can measure it in various units. So these are the units of measurement. Meter is the unit of measurement, centimeter is the unit of measurement, kilometer is the unit of measurement, miles is the unit of measurement. These three are our standard units. They are SI because meter, meter, meter. Centi and kilo, they are basically prefix. But miles is not the standard unit, but it is a unit. It is unit of measurement. So you can measure the quantity in various units, but whether you measure in meter or you measure in centimeter or you measure in kilometer or you measure in miles, still it is a distance. Centimeter will always be the unit of distance. Kilometer will always be the unit of distance. Miles is the unit of distance. So the units are different, but all these units basically tell you that this is a quantity which has a form of distance. So distance is the nature now, and therefore this distance called as dimension. You call this a distance as dimension. Basically, distance means length. Distance means a length. So length will be called as dimension. So one dimension is now length. Similarly, if you want to measure mass of any object, you have freedom. You can measure it in kilograms, you can measure in grams or any other unit. You can measure in pounds, any other unit. Whatever the unit be, it always indicate a quantity which is mass. So this mass will be called as dimension. Now 20 minutes, I will not tell what is this, but the number is 20 minutes, then it is 200 seconds, then it is 2 hours. Whenever we listen these words 20 minutes, 200 seconds, 2 hours, we get idea that someone is talking about time. Listening minute or listening second or listening hours puts an image of time in our brain. We come to know that yes, we are talking about time. So that time is called as dimension. Right. So a physical quantity can be measured in the various units. But irrespective of units, irrespective of the unit of measurement, it has always unique dimension. It cannot have two dimensions, because dimension denotes nature of quantity, and a quantity cannot have two natures at the same time. And these dimensions are denoted by symbols. Time is a dimension which will be denoted by a symbol capital T. Mass is a dimension which will be denoted by symbol capital M. Distance, for which the dimension, length is the dimension, and it is denoted by L. So these capital letter symbols are symbols for the dimensions. Now if you want any other quantity, these are the fundamental quantities. Let's say we want to measure speed, we want to calculate speed. So speed is denoted by symbol small v, and it has a unit of meter per second or kilometer per hour, whatever. It has a unit of meter per second, or it can be in kilometer per hour or miles per hour. Now notice that the units are different. Here the unit is meter upon second, here the unit is kilometer upon hour. But meter or kilometer gives the idea about length. So they both have same dimension, capital L. Second and hour, they both represent time. So they have the same dimensions, capital T. So L over capital T. and this we call dimension of speed. L by T will be called as the dimensions of speed. And normally we denote it like the dimension of a quantity is normally denoted by a big bracket, putting the quantity inside the bracket, and on the right hand side these dimensions are treated like algebraic quantities. The dimensions are always treated like algebraic quantities, which means if a number is in the denominator, you can bring the number in the numerator part by putting a negative power over it. So remember, the dimensions will be considered like algebraic quantities, and all the rules of algebra will be applied to the dimensions. I will give one more example. Let's say we want to have dimensions of quantity force. Right, the force denoted by, we usually denote it by capital F, and it has a unit of, the unit of force is kilogram meter per second square. Now, unit kilogram has a dimension of mass, so denoted by capital M. Unit meter has a dimension of length, denoted by capital L, over second dimension of time, so it is T square, and here you will say big bracket inside which the symbol of quantity F. And considering these dimensions as algebraic quantities, you can put the powers ml and t raised to the power minus 2. So this mlt minus 2 will be called as dimensions of force. And in this way you can have dimensions of any quantity, you can find the dimensions of any quantity. Let us consider one more example to understand this logic. There is a formula in the physics which is called F equals to capital G m1 m2 over r square, where F is the force, capital G called as universal gravitational constant, m1 m2 are the masses, and r is the distance. So what is the dimensions of G? We want to find capital G. So what will be the dimension of capital G is as follows. First of all, you write the unit. So force has a unit kilogram meter upon second square. Then this r square will be multiplied with the force, and r square means meter square. So you will multiply meter square here. And this masses m1 m2 will become kilogram square and will be on the denominator side. So it will be kilogram square. Now to convert it into dimensions, you can write 1 kilogram will be cancelled. So you will have 1 kilogram at the bottom, for which the dimension will be capital M. You have a meter cube, dimension for the meter is capital L cube, so power 3, and then second, which means time, dimension capital T and power 2 on the bottom side. As algebraic quantity, you can write it m raised to the power minus 1, L cube and t raised to the power minus 2. So this is dimensions for capital G, which is known as a universal gravitational constant. Right, so this way you can find the dimensional formulas, dimensions of other physical quantities, except the three standards. The three standards are length, mass and time. And in mechanics, all other units will be obtained by the combinations of three standard dimensions along with powers over them. The combination of three standard dimensions with their respective powers, known as dimensional formula for this particular quantity. You can say m raised to the power minus 1 L cube t minus 2 is the dimensional formula of capital G. That's the definition of dimensional formula. I repeat, dimensional formula is representation of dimensions in terms of the standard dimensions along with powers on them, exponents on them. We call it dimensional formula. Dimensions are important in physics for other reasons also. Dimensions can be used for various kind of analysis. Like from dimension you can check if equation is right or wrong. How can you check whether equation is right or wrong? Through dimensions we can check if a given equation is correct or wrong. And what is the rule? The rule says any equation is correct. Equation is correct if dimensions on the left side, whenever the dimensions of left hand side and the dimensions of right hand side, if they are equal, dimensions of right hand side, if the dimensions on LHS and RHS are equal, then we say equation is correct, and if it is not so, the equation is incorrect. As example, let's say we have a equation where A is V cube over R, where A is a acceleration, V is the speed, and R is the radius. And we have to check whether this equation is correct or not. It is a correct or wrong. If it is correct equation or it is a wrong equation, we have to check this. How will we check this? We will check this in the following way. Dimensions on the left hand side. So what is the unit on the left hand side? The unit on left hand side is meter per second square. Meter means dimension will be L, per second square will be T square, so that is L over T square, or you can simplify it and you can write LT to the power minus 2. Dimensions on right hand side now. On the right hand side you have speed, which is a meter per second. So dimension for that will be L by T and then cube. On the denominator you have radius, which is a distance, so dimension will be L. If we simplify it, I get L square T minus 3. L square T minus 3. Since left side dimension and the right side dimensions are not equal, you can say that this given equation is incorrect. This is not the correct equation. Something is wrong with this equation. Right. I will give one more example to you. Let's say time period T is given by 2 pi square root of L by G. Now check whether this equation is correct or incorrect. Now I will do it in fast way. What is the dimension on the left side? Left side you have time, so dimension will be just T, nothing else. Right hand side you have L, that is length, over G, which is meter per second square. Meter per second square will be L over T square, and then square root. Remember, dimensions are considered as algebraic quantities, so you will take square root of this value. And if you check, then dimension on the right hand side will be capital T now. Now the left side dimension is same as the right side dimension. Yes, this equation is correct. Nothing wrong with this equation. This is the first application of dimension. You can check whether the given equation is correct or not. Second application is the principle of homogeneity. Principle of homogeneity says that physical quantities having same dimensions that physical quantities can be added only if they are of same dimensions. You cannot add physical quantities of different dimensions. So physical quantities of same dimensions can be added or subtracted. As example, well, this is quite obvious. You cannot add a distance in mass. You cannot add time with your height. It is illogical to add the value of time with your height, because height is measured in meter or centimeter, time in seconds or hours. Adding them is completely nonsense. We cannot add them. To add the two quantities, they must be of same physical nature, they must be of same dimensions. I will put one example for you now. I will give one example here. Let's say a famous equation in thermodynamics is P plus A over V square times V minus B, and right hand side is something which is constant, and we are not interested in that constant now. Capital P is actually, this capital P is called as pressure by the gas, we call it pressure. Capital V we call volume. And now we have to find what is the dimension of A and what is the dimension of B, and they are constants. A and B are constants, and we have to find the dimensions. What is A and what is B? So what we can do here is, right, see what we can do here is, since we have a plus sign here, so if it is a plus between these two, pressure P and A upon V square, they are added. So they can be added. You can add them only if dimension of P is same as the dimension of A over V square. Otherwise, we cannot add them. Now the dimensions are just like algebra, so we will use the algebraic rules now. That dimension of A divided by dimension of V square is the dimension of P. That is pressure, and therefore the dimension of A, which we can represent like this, will be dimension of P and cross product dimension of V square. So you can put P inside bracket, which means dimension of P, and you can put V square inside bracket, which means dimension of V square. Putting the quantities inside bracket means we are talking about dimensions now. So pressure has a unit. It is defined as force by area. Force is kilogram meter per second square. So let me derive the dimension of pressure for you. Pressure is defined as force upon area. Force is kilogram meter per second square, and divided by area will become meter square. So this is the unit of pressure P. So what is the dimension of pressure P? It should be, for kilogram you will put capital M, for this meter cube you will put L cube, sorry, it will be 1 by meter here and meter square. So you will get 1 upon meter, which is 1 upon L, and 1 upon L will become L minus 1, and then second square is T square, going above it will be T minus 2, and then V square. Volume is meter cube, so it is L cube and a square of that. So overall you can get the value as m, L6, L minus 1. So you will get L5 algebraic rules, exponent properties, and this minus 2. So this is the dimension of quantity A. Similarly, here it is V minus B. We are subtracting B from V. So subtraction is allowed. It is possible only if the dimension of B and the dimension of capital V are similar. So you will say that dimension of B equals to dimension of capital V, and capital V is the volume meter cube, so its dimension will be L cube. So that is the answer. We have now dimensions of A and B both. So this is the second property which we call principle of homogeneity, that similar dimensions can be added or subtracted. First application of dimension was you can check the correctness of equation. Second application is you can find some unknown dimensions if they are added or subtracted from known dimensions. Third application of dimension is known as analysis of a formula, or you can call it anticipation of formula. Anticipation of formula is like, suppose we perform any experiment. Let's say we are doing some experiment, and after going through various data of that experiment, after going through the various data collected from that experiment, we concluded something based on the experimental results. We concluded, let's say that after doing various experiments, we found that the kinetic energy is changing with mass. We are doing experiment, and in that experiment, whenever we change the mass, we found kinetic energy to be different. So that is my activity in the experiment. We also found that kinetic energy changes with speed. Let's say we are doing some experiment. In that experiment, if you change the mass, kinetic energy gets changed. If you change the speed, then also kinetic energy is changed. So as scientists or as physicists, we can conclude that yes, kinetic energy is somehow dependent on the mass, because if it is not dependent on mass, then changing the mass should not change kinetic energy. Changing the speed should not change kinetic energy. So if kinetic energy is changing because of these two, there must be some mathematical relationship between the parameters, and the mathematical relationship between the quantities is called as scientific formula. So if we are doing any experiment, through the data collected from that experiment, we come to know that a certain physical quantity depends on some other quantities, then you can anticipate a rough idea about dependency, and that we call formula. How can we do it? The process is as follows. Let's say the kinetic energy is proportional to, because it depends on mass, but we are unaware of exact way of dependency, whether it depends on mass to the power 1 or it depends on mass to the power 2. So exponent is not clear to us. So we will assume that kinetic energy is proportional to, let's say, mass to the power some unknown number x, and then speed to the power some unknown number y. So x and y are two unknown exponents which we are going to find now. And this symbol is called proportionality. It means they are proportional, but the exponent is not clear. So I cannot say whether it is directly proportional or inversely proportional. If the exponent comes positive, we will say it is directly proportional. If exponent comes negative, we will say it inversely proportional. And as per your knowledge, we know that that proportionality can be converted into equality by putting appropriate constant. So I will introduce a constant small c here for conversion of proportionality factor into the equality factor, and I have to inform whether this constant has any unit or not. So whenever we convert this proportionality into constant, I am going to confirm that this constant has no dimensions. Though it does not mean that constants cannot have dimensions. They can have. Constants can have the dimensions. Remember, we found dimensions of capital G, which is called universal gravitational constant. So make it very clear that physical constants, the constants appearing in any formula, can have dimensions. But while anticipation of formula, we introduce a dimensionless constant. I repeat my words. It is not necessary that a constant which appears in a formula will always be dimensionless. Constant appearing in the formula can have dimensions, but if you are in the process of anticipation of a formula based on some experiment, during that time, when you introduce a constant, you should always have a dimensionless constant. That's just a process. And now we will write dimension on the left side and the dimension on the right side. They must be equal. Before that, I have to find the dimension of energy now. And what is the dimension of energy now? There is a list of dimensions given in the books. You can learn from there. But here I will solve the energy, dimension of energy. So unit of energy has a unit which is kilogram meter square second square. That's the unit of energy. So based on the unit, you can have dimension. M, L2, and bottom you will have T2, which will go on the top side, become -2. That's the dimension on left side. Should be same as the dimension on the right side. On the right side, we have mass to the power x, speed, which is meter upon second, that is L by T, and to the power y. And now we will compare dimensions on both sides. The exponents on both sides must be similar. Here the exponent of m is 1. Here the exponent of m is x. So comparing exponent on both sides, you get x equals to 1. Now comparing the exponent of dimension L has exponent 2 on the left side, whereas dimension L has exponent y on the right side. So now I come to know that x equals to 1 and y equals to 2. And then we can anticipate that kinetic energy is some constant which is not disclosed at this moment, and then mass to the power 1 and speed v to the power 2. So kinetic energy must be, this is my intuitions about the kinetic energy. This is anticipation of a formula based on the experiments, that we can expect kinetic energy to have a formula something like this. But there is a drawback in this process. That it is difficult or impossible to find the value of constant appearing in this formula. Through the dimension analysis, the constant appearing in formula can never be obtained. To have the value of this constant, we have to repeat the experiment again and again, and then only we can find the value of constant. and scientists normally derive the formula in this way, and by doing various experiments they come to know that yes, in the formula of kinetic energy the value of constant comes as 1 by 2, and so kinetic energy is half m v square. But finding constant is not our job at this moment. Leave that job for scientist or physicist. For us, we can simply anticipate a formula provided we know which quantity depends on other quantities, which is dependent quantity and which is independent quantity. If I know that quantity x depends on the quantity y and z, then that dependency can be represented in this way by the exponents, and then comparing dimensions on left side and right side, you will get some algebraic equations through which you can easily find out what are the values of exponents, and then you can check or you can anticipate a formula. That's the third application of dimensional analysis. So dimensions have three applications in physics. Checking correctness of equation is one. Finding some unknown dimensions if they are added or subtracted through the principle of homogeneity. And third, anticipation of physical formula. Right, these are three important applications from dimensions. Certain rules you must always remember. One is that exponents of a physical quantity, exponents do not have any dimension. These are certain rules for numericals. Second, trigonometric ratios, as the name suggests, trigonometric ratios are dimensionless because their ratio says they do not have any unit. So they are dimensionless. What I mean is, suppose we have a relation y equals to capital A sin k x, something like this, where y is a quantity which is measured in the unit of centimeter, a is the quantity which is measured in the unit of centimeter, x is the quantity which is measured in the centimeter, and I need to tell what is k. What is k? Sine or cosine, they are trigonometric ratios. So this whole term sin kx, this whole term sin kx should be dimensionless. That's a rule. Remember, sine of any angle is the ratio between perpendicular length to the hypotenuse length. Having ratio between the two length, it will be unitless quantity, so it will be dimensionless. And the term after sine, this term which is written after sine, this kx, which normally indicate angle, and in physics angle is not the physical quantity, it is mathematical quantity, it is not the physical quantity, and we do not give any dimension to the angle. Angles are measured in units. Remember, angles are measured in the units, and the units for angle are degrees or radians. In physics we measure angle in a unit called as radian, but that's a unit. It has no dimension. Remember this term, it has no dimension. And that's why the complete term after the sine or cosine, since it represents angle, it should not have any dimension. This product kx must be dimensionless. This product Kx, and that means I will put K inside bracket, which stand for dimension of K. I will put X inside bracket, which means dimension of X, and this product should be dimensionless. Dimensionless means it can be written as M0, L0, T0. A dimensionless quantity can be written as 0 power over M, 0 power over L, 0 power over T. Since X has a dimension, so dimension of K, and then this symbol means the dimension of X. X has a unit of centimeter, which means length. So dimension for this quantity will be capital L, and it is M0, L0, T0. Transpose this L on the right side, use simple algebra, and then you will come to know that dimension of K will be L raised to the power minus 1. So that's the dimension of K. Another example, let's say we have equation y equals to a e raised to the power minus bt, for example, where t is time, seconds, and we want to know what is the value of b, what is the dimension of b. This e is called exponential factor. In mathematics you call it exponential term, exponential, and that's a function, mathematics. It is a mathematical operator, exponential term. Now, first rule, exponents do not have any dimensions. Since product b into t is exponent of this quantity e, so being the exponent term, it cannot have any dimension. This is the exponent. B into t is our exponent, power. Exponent to any quantity cannot have dimension. So dimension of b multiplied by dimension of t is dimensionless. This multiplication is dimensionless. So you write M0, L0, T0. And then you can find what is the dimension of b. The dimension of b, dimension of t will be capital T. So it will be M0, L0, T0, and then t goes on the right side, and therefore dimension of b will be now t raised to the power minus 1. So remember these two fundamental rules now, that exponents are always dimensionless, angles are always dimensionless, trigonometric ratios which are represented by sine, cosine, tangent, cotangent, they all are dimensionless. They do not have any dimension. Right. Once again, I want to repeat one statement. But students are normally confused with this statement, whether a constant has a dimension or not. In physics, constants are classified in two ways. There are some constants appearing in a formula, and they have units, they have dimensions. On the other hand, we have certain formulas in which the constant do not have any unit, any dimension. So I should support my statement by example. You have a formula which is, say, displacement. If object starts from rest, if the object starts from rest, displacement is 1 by 2 a t square. Notice this 1 by 2 is a constant appearing in the formula, and this constant is dimensionless. So this is one example where the constant is dimensionless. We have another formula which is circumference of a circle is 2 pi radius r. This 2 and pi both are constants, and these constants are dimensionless. right? There is a formula F equals to some constant K, product of charges over R square. This is known as Coulomb's law. And this K is called Coulomb constant. And this constant is having some dimension. It has a dimension. It has a unit. It has dimension. This is what I want to clarify, that dimensions, the quantities which appear as constant, can be without unit, can be with unit, can be without dimensions, can be with dimensions. Last but not the least, so far we discussed three standard quantities: mass, kilogram, mass, length and time. But in the committee, in the meeting held in 1960, four other units were added to the standard system. Our standard system till now has three units: length, mass, kilogram. Length, mass and time. And they are defined in the standard way with their units. Units for the length was meter, unit for mass was kilogram, unit for time was second. In the same standard international standard meeting, they introduced four other quantities. They introduced four other quantities in that group, and they were temperature, unit is Kelvin. They introduced electric current as the standard quantity. They defined current in the standard definition, and the unit was ampere. They included luminous intensity, which belonged to light, and the unit proposed was candela. And then they introduced amount of substance as the standard quantity and introduced a unit as mole. So nowadays we have 7 standards in the SI system. Those 7 standards are length, mass, time, temperature, current, luminous intensity, amount of mole. And then finally 2 supplementary units were added. 2 supplementary units were added as angle in radian. So that is a unit without dimension, no dimension. These are the supplementary quantities. One more supplementary quantity is listed as solid angle, which is measured in a unit of steradian and has no dimensions. We will discuss these terms in the upcoming chapters. Right now, we do not need to know about these quantities, because the first unit which we are going to discuss will be mechanics, and in mechanics you will always deal with first 3 quantities only. Temperature will come in the thermodynamics unit, current when we will discuss electricity, luminous intensity comes under the optics, amount of substance, which is mole, will be covered in your gases state topic. Angle and solid angle are not the part of current chapter, so we are not going into the detail of these quantities. Right now you must understand dimensions and the standards of length, mass and time. Right, so this was the complete chapter, which is called physics and measurement. Still, if you have any doubt regarding any concept, you can drop your message in the comment box, or you can drop a message to my WhatsApp number, or you can directly call to me for any clarification. Hope everything is clear. Take care. Bye bye.